Checking myself in my makeshift viewfinder here, which is a mirror behind my phone. So I'm looking at myself and looking at the screen at the same time. Hi everybody, Burger here. Haven't done a little video in a while. This one is not going to be a throwing video. It's just going to be a regular video of me talking about knives. I don't do too much about them because you've already seen a bunch of reviews on knives and stuff, but I guess I could talk about myself for a minute. Been really busy. The reason why I changed the name from Mr. Nasty Nate 1985 to Native Burger was because, I mean, come on, it's Mr. Nasty Nate 1985. Who really... Every time I've ever told anybody about that name, they're like, really? So, decided to make it a little bit more friendly for people. And here we are now. So, now Native Burger. If you're still subscribed to me, thank you. I hope to keep talking to you through YouTube and make more videos. I got some really cool stuff to talk about come Christmas time. Recently made a trip up to the Cold Steel parking lot sale in November, and got some stuff, and I can't wait to talk about it and show you it, and you know, whatever. And you'll also find me on Instagram as Native Burger. Anyways, this one here specifically is for MrLeonidas, 00 something. MrLeonidas. He's a friend of mine now on YouTube and also on Instagram, and he wanted to hear my honest opinion about Robert Young Pelton. My honest opinion, this is going to go off on a little rant. It might go a little long, but I'm going to try and make it as concise and, you know, condense it as best as possible. But I really have nothing against the guy at all. From what I know, he's an adventurer. He's been doing journalism for 30, 40 years or something like that in the most dangerous places on earth, and which is really cool job in my opinion. I think that'd be really fun to just be able to go around to different places all over the world and experience life in other cultures and other beliefs and everything like that, and surroundings totally different than what you're normally used to. I think that's really cool. You know, I bring up Robert Young Pelton because, as MrLeonidas knows, I'm a big fan of the DPX Hest. By the way, this is my newly revamped DPX Hest. As you can see, I've been beating on it, using it a lot, beating the hell out of it. This thing still holds up very well. It's a very good knife, very good little fixed blade knife. I cannot knock anything really about this knife aside from the pry bar pommel. I just, like I said in my other video, I just don't really know where I use this. You know what? Today though, I use this to knock out a KO seal in a 4-square electrical box today. So instead of, you know, using the tip of my knife, which I could because this thing is like super thick, it's 3/16 of an inch thick. I could easily have stabbed it open, but I didn't. So I just took it and held it like this, and with my finger right here, and just popped it, and it popped open. And I grabbed my lineman and just pulled it open. I mean, it was just because I was using the knife itself. I was using the knife itself to strip some wires. And that also is really cool about this knife is this little notch right here, the wire breaker notch, where you get on a fence and you just go back and forth, rock it until it breaks. Well, I've used it. I just score this is a Sharpie that I'm just going to use as an example, but I score around the wire and I slip it onto the nock right there and just pull it off, and it works perfectly. Works really well, and I really appreciate it for that specific purpose. I've opened a couple of different Mexican sodas with this. You know, import bottles have the pop caps, not the twist offs. So haven't used it on a beer. I don't really drink beer, so not anymore. Used to, long time ago, not so long ago. I was really bad about it. Now I don't do it no more. I got into doing this stuff, doing YouTube. That kept me from drinking. But anyway, that's another story for another time. So, enough about the knife. Like, you already know about this knife. Robert Young Pelton, in my opinion, is a cool guy. It's awesome that he's done the stuff that he's done throughout his life, and he's, he came up with a knife design like this, and it really, really hit the nail on the head when it came to the uses of a knife, especially a knife that has the right size that you can carry almost anywhere. Majority of the places you can carry it, it's legal probably legal in all 50 states. I'm not sure. Depends on what city or municipality, their laws all have different things. But anyway, regardless, you can stow it away in your luggage that you're not your carry-on, of course, but your luggage for international flights, from town to town, from national, inside the country or outside of the country, and you won't have any crap for having this on your hip or in your pocket, in the sheath, and anything like that, because it's legal in most places. Very useful. My rant basically was that, knowing that he's created this company, DPX Gear, right? DPX Gear. He's got a lot of different knives in his lineup, and to me, it just seems like he's, well, for one, there's one design. It's a gentleman folder. It's a gentleman folder. I think it's got like a glass breaker bottom, and it's a real sleek design, and it looks exactly like the tie spine from not Fox Knives, but that other Italian company. Goodness, what is that one called? Lion Steel tie spine. You look at the Lion Steel tie spine and look at DPX Gear's gentleman folder thing that he has. It's the same thing. Maybe not so much anymore, but anyway. But here's the reason why I say that, is that here's the example. I mean, here's my proof by it, is that the tie spine is made from Lion Steel. Robert Young Pelton's DPX Gear, his company, his knives are made by Lion Steel. The Hess 2.0, the folder version of this, has the locking thing just like their other knives. Now, it's the same design that he had originally. But when you get back to the original, and this right here is the original design of his knife. This isn't, I mean, it doesn't look like it so much because I've already had it powder coated and you can't see any of the original markings on it, but it had Hest here, and on this side it had OKC, which stands for Ontario Knife Company. And that rant, it's interesting that OKC originally came up with the knives, or originally made the knives for Randall Adventure Training, or Randall, blah, blah, blah. And the deal was, from the history that I've read about him, or the videos that I've watched about Robert Young Pelton, is that Robert Young Pelton was in cahoots with Randall and designed this knife made by Ontario Knife Company. Then that stopped, and then Randall Adventure Training, RAT, came up with their own design, or came up with a way to make their knives from a different company called Rowan. Rowan made this knife for a while, still the same design, but not from Ontario Knife Company. That's why when I got this, I was so happy that it was the original Ontario Knife Company Hest. And I found it for $80 over at a pawn shop. It was a sweet buy. I was like, hell yeah. And because I was always interested in the knife, I finally found it. I'm not exactly amused or entertained by the DeSantis sheath. For one, it was just not very ergonomic, and two, it warped in the sun. And I live in Arizona, so in the car the sun gets really, the inside of a car gets really, really hot, and it ended up warping the sheath a little bit. Not too bad, but it was loose. So I ended up fastening this thing right here, which is a piece of PVC pipe. Drilled some holes, looped it with paracord, and it holds it really well. So, anyway, got a new sheath for it, made my own sheath for it. I love it. It works. It's simple. I can fit it into the pocket too. I couldn't really do that with the DeSantis one because of the straps that weren't really adjustable, and it never fit my belt size, my belt size, so it just slipped around all the time and annoyed the shit out of me. So I ended up coming up with this idea, and I made it, and it works. So anyway, back to the story. Randall Adventure Training started getting their knives, Randall Adventure Knives, RAK, however it goes down, made by Rowan. And I believe, as it stands right now, Essie, which is now what Randall Adventure Training is now called. I don't know why they changed that. It's their thing that they did. They ended up becoming Essie Knives, and Essie was making this version in a different sheath, with a different sheath. It looked more or less like a neck knife all the time. It was like comparable to the Azula, Obviously, I think this one's thicker. I've never had an Azula. I've never handled an Azula, but I think this one's thicker. And the handle is obviously different. But anyway, so what I'm getting at, and before I keep rambling on, is that even after that, Robert Young Pelton went away from Essie, which was Randall, which all fell under Ontario Knife Company, became partners, or whatever you want to call it, with, damn it, not Fox Knives. I keep wanting to say Fox Knives because that's Italian too, but no, Lion Steel. Lion Steel. Now, Lion Steel now makes their knives, and they're like twice the price of any of these, okay? If you can find this version on eBay or Amazon, you're going to find it between $80 to $90, maybe $100. Original price of this was like $110 or something like that. If you find it, it's like $80 to $90 to $100 or something like that. His knives now being made from Lion Steel are like at least $200. At least $200, and they're made with a different steel. It's like a tool steel, kind of like D2, but it's a Sleipner steel or something like that. And they have all kinds of versions. They have like a Woodsman, Heft, which is 6 inches long. They have a 4-inch version. They have a 6-inch version. They've got Battle Ready 6-inch long blade versions. All still have the pocket in the handle, which is really cool. I've never really used that for anything. I just don't, if I wanted to put anything in it, maybe like $100 bill or something like that. I don't know. I've always got a lighter. I've got my own pack that's always in my car. That's always got my survival gear. I'm never only with this thing. And I don't anticipate ever being without that pack, but you never know. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that I don't know what his game plan is or what it was. I mean, sure, you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to make the most out of your company, and you're trying to make as much money as possible. But when you came out with this, it's been now what? Ontario Knife Company, through Essie, right? Through Randall, Essie, made by Rowan, then now made by Lion Steel. You went through 4 companies to build your company. And I know people do that all the time. Like Bear Grylls has all of his stuff made by Gerber. That Strauss guy, the Survivor Man, that guy has his stuff made by Camillus. But it's not like those guys promote, this is the Bear Grylls knife, or this is the Les Strauss knife, or this is the Pathfinder guy, Dave Canterbury. His is made by Blind Horse Knives? Blind Horse Knives. But he's like, this is my knife made by Blind Horse Knives. Every time I ever see anything about Robert Young Pelton and DPX gear, it's DPX gear. You rarely hear anything about Lion Steel or Rowan or Ontario Knife Company. And I don't know what anybody else's opinion about it is, but I just think it's kind of weird. Like, why do you model your company after your design, and it's your design, and it's your company, but yet you've also borrowed a design from Lion Steel and made a gent knife, which looks exactly, in my opinion, it looks exactly like the tie spine. I don't have a tie spine. It's made out of a full, like, you know how the Lion Steel knives are. Lion Steel knives are all milled out from aluminum handles, from an aluminum billet, and it's a really fantastic looking knife. They're really cool looking. I can't afford them, and I don't really have much interest in getting one. My collection is now getting to the point where I'm not really needing much more at all. Only like throwing knives and things like that. That's the only knives I really buy nowadays. But I guess what I'm saying is I just think that it's kind of weird that DPX Gear is so big and he takes so much pride. But I guess, I don't know, that's his company, that's his baby, and he's made it exactly what he wanted it to be. And good for him, you know, kudos to you. I salute you. But, you know, you have your knives made by somebody totally different, you know. I guess what's important and what counts is that when I go on Blade HQ or something, or I go on OntarioKnifeCompany.com or something like that, when I look at their knives, I see the hest. You know what I mean? If I look at in the category section or the brand section of Blade HQ and I look up Ontario Knife Company and I see the hest is in Ontario Knife Company's roster, you know, that's cool. I think that's cool. But anyway, so that's my own. That's what I have to say about Robert Young Pelton. Kudos to the guy. That's cool. He's lived a very long, exciting, amazing life. That's awesome. I envy him. But it's just weird that he's made so much money and he's made such a name for himself from other companies like that. I don't know. I could be wrong. You might have a different opinion, but mainly this video was for MrLeonidas' eyes anyway. So if you don't like it, dislike it. If you like it, like it. But my ending statement is that if you get your hands on one of these and you get a chance to work one of these, you're really going to appreciate spending the $80 to $90 to $100 on it. And if you get the original, fucking A, because they do not make that anymore. Not that I know of. That's why I was so excited to get this. The original Ontario Knife Company Hest. Alright, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.